Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Process. It's your good brother Talib, and I'm here with my guy, B Ed.
What's good with
It's
you?
good, man. So on this show, we talk about business development, career development, and we know that you got one of the probably longest running businesses in our community, Edwards and Sons. You know what I mean? So I want to
Facts.
sit here and talk about the history, give the people some information if they want to start their business, and all that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So let's take it back from the beginning. How did the business start off?
So first of all, of course, this is not my business, right? The business has been alive for longer than I've been alive.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it started in 1986 with my grandfather, Alan Edwards.
Okay.
He started it. He worked for a steel mill for years, and then he always knew though that he had to have some other source of income. So he was always trying different things, right? He had a barber shop. He had some rental properties. He had a junk removal service. But what really stuck with him was landscaping. He really wanted the junk removal, but he couldn't get no junk removal clients. Everybody was calling him to do some yard work.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that turned out being his lane. You know what I mean? So he stuck with it and he grinded and he invested. It got really popular in the area, you know what I'm saying, in the Willingboro area. And then in the year 2000 is when he sold it to his son or
Okay.
passed it down to his son, Bryce Edwards, who currently runs it now.
Okay.
Okay. So in 2000, and he did the same thing. He grinded, he invested in a lot of the equipment and a lot of trucks, and for that, that back end return. You know what I mean? But the important thing that I think that my grandfather did was in the year 2000, when he passed it down to his son, he started another company called Allen and Grandsons.
Okay.
Okay. This is where he trained me, my brother, and my cousin on the business.
Same business, same type.
Same, yes, landscaping,
Okay.
same, it's the same formula, right? And this is like kind of what I want to get into. I feel like we have a I feel like we have a misconception of what generational wealth is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like we put pressure on ourselves to pass down businesses or pass down money to our children when the real gold is the knowledge, the completed knowledge, right? Which is a skill.
Yeah.
That's the real gold in generational wealth. You know what I mean? If you passing down generational wealth or money or houses or cars without the skill set, without the knowledge, it's actually more detrimental than beneficial to your bloodline. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in that wholeheartedly. We see it all the time. Where trust fund babies, they get all this money and they don't know what to do with it. They're blowing through it and they're spending on frivolous things. They have a frivolous lifestyle. We see this play out all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that we understand, really the formula of creating true generational wealth, and that formula is passing down skills, right? Being focused on passing down skills, confidence, integrity, mindset. That's the real key. So with that being said, right, while my grandfather passed the business down to his son, and he opened up another business, that's how some would see it, as Allen and Grandsons, he's passing down the same things to me and my brother and my cousins, which at the time were 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? And he's passing down the skill of the business. He's passing down the mindset. He's just really influential in our lives at a young age.
Okay. So why start a new business and pass it down versus just have you guys run the current business?
And that is a great question. I love to get into that because business is uh, the business is nothing but the way you just described it is nothing but a piece of paper. It is nothing but a tax filing. You know what I'm saying? Because the business never changed. The business is always the same. You know what I'm saying? But the way that we organize the money may be different. You know what I mean? The way we control the money is different, but the business is the same. If you understand what I mean. So while there is an Edwards and Sons, and my grandfather started Allen and Grandsons, and now I have a business of my own called Third Generation, we are still one company. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not on paper. On paper, we're different companies,
Same
right?
people, though.
On paper, we're different companies. But in spirit and mindset, it's all the same company. I call my uncle right now. I just talked to him yesterday. I throw stuff his way. He throws stuff my way. There's a camaraderie between companies, just like as if we were the same company. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's important, and I do actually think it's important to do it that way, so that each generation can kind of learn the ground floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know what
yeah.
it's like to start from nothing. I didn't come in with 10 trucks and you know what I mean? I came in from the ground floor because my grandfather told me something very important. He said, "Look, I don't care if you end up doing this or whatever the case may be, but I think it's important for you to learn, because this is a vehicle that can get you from A to B to C." You know what I'm saying? When you don't know what you want to do, or you want, he kind of foresaw, as our grandparents a lot of times do, that you're going to hit an age in your 20s or in your 30s where you might not know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? You might not know exactly what it is, but he said, "I'll tell you what, if I teach you this, you're going to have a vehicle to find that out." I mean, I'm going to pass this skill on to you. I'm going to pass this experience that he had gained over his years, and I'm going to, which is really, he passed down time. He gave me time, right? He gave me time to figure out what I wanted to do. He gave me time to put it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really how that went.
So, all right. So is he the first one in the family to be like on the entrepreneur stuff? Or is it like
now we going back, right? Now we going back. So no, he grew up as on a farm. They were sharecropping. I believe sharecropping until they owned it, right? So they own a lot of acres in Georgia. Okay, so now you're testing my memories. So he grew up, because, and if you know anything about a farm, that's a business. Sharecropping or not, whether it's your own or you're sharecropping, that's a business. You have to get a loan from the bank. You grow the crops, you pay them back, and it's actually a really long, kind of drawn out process that my grandfather broke down to me one time. He told me this story. I'll tell it real fast. This is why he said, I'm done. I'm moving up north. You know what I'm saying? This is what got him out the business, out the farming business, right? So he would see that you had to get this, so you had to go to the bank and get the loan to buy your crops, right? You do that, and before the season start, January, something like that, right? And then from that loan, you buy your crops, you plant your seed, and then you pay money. You don't have to make payments, right? You have to pay when your crops grow. Right? They accept payment when your crops grow. You know what I'm saying? But what they were doing in the South was they were prolonging the process for Black people, right? So it took you longer to get your loans, right? It took you long. So you put in for the loan, they're not processing you right away. So instead of you getting your crops and being able to start planting when it's planting season, they prolonged the process to where now you're getting a late start. You know what I'm saying? So now everybody else got to start planting their crops in March. You had to wait until June, July. Now, when it's harvest season, everybody who planted before, their crops are grown, they're selling their crops, they got the money, they can pay theirs back, and now you stuck with these, now your crops grow late. Everybody already got their potatoes. All the businesses already have their corn or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So he saw that and he was like, "Oh yeah, like this isn't the life for me. There's a better life." He believed that there was a something for him up here on the north side. So
is he the first one up here?
no, he followed his it is his uncle, but it was more like a brother to him. You know what I mean? 7 years older. He told me like that was his big brother. He wanted to be just like him. He moved up here, and that's who he followed to come up here.
All right. I asked all that because it's important that people see like everything that you do affects everybody else. You know what I mean? So like his uncle going up there gave him a pathway to go up there, set y'all up. You know what I mean? So everybody got to play their part. Is the point I'm trying to get to.
Big fact.
All right. So, how are you starting off in the business as a child? Like, what are they having you do to learn the business?
Okay, yeah. So the first thing I did, if you know anything about lawn cutting or landscaping, it's not something you can really just jump in as a kid or even as an adult, right? That's part of the problem with it is there's a learning curve, and the learning curve is pretty extensive if you really want to be a professional, professional landscaper, professional lawn service crew. The learning it takes about a full year to learn, right, and maybe even more for some people. So what they had me do, mind you, I'm 10, 11 years old, was I was on the blower.
Okay.
I was on the blower and I was on the edger. These are the easiest machines in the business. You know what I'm saying? It uh, doesn't take much to do that. So that's where I started. But it doesn't take much mentally, but it takes much physically. You know, you're 10 years old, you're probably about what, 4 feet or something. I don't know how old grandpa's saying.
Yeah.
But you got to put the blower on your back. It's hot outside, and you blow the grass. You blow the grass off the sidewalk, blow the grass off the driveway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was my first job. You know what I mean? And this, I think, this is important too, because what he did was he allowed me to do that, but he still paid me. You know what I mean? He didn't just say, yeah, come learn and that's it. Like, nah, he paid me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm 10, 11 years old, getting paid at the end of the week, it was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it made an impression. It made an impression on me that stuck with me to this day. You know what I mean? I think that's important. If we want our kids to follow in our footsteps, if we want our kids to get what we putting down, we gotta give them that carrot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're children at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we looking at, especially today, they're getting carrots all the time. Video games, TV, YouTube. Everybody's giving them carrots for nothing, and we're like, yeah, come over here. I need you to do this, and there's no carrots. We got to kind of evolve in our teaching styles, I believe, and start giving, not too much. We don't gotta not spoil them, but give them something to make them want to come back, to get them excited about it, and then I think we'll see better results.
Yeah, nobody wants to work for free. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Another gem you just dropped was you got to be patient with your children. You know what I mean? So like, a lot of people are like, I'll do it as fast as I do. You know what I mean? And they'll just jump on the blower and knock it out real quick instead of letting you go out there and find your way, you mess it up a couple times and stuff like that. So you got to be patient with the kids. All right. So what is when you want to get started on your own? Well, first off, I'm guessing he said he didn't make you do this.
Right. No, not at all.
So this is something that you want to do. So what was the spark on you? Like, you know what? I'm gonna keep going with this thing.
Life was a spark on me. Right. I went to after high school. I don't know what I want to do as a kid. You know what I'm saying? The government got me in that 360 deal from college right off the bat. You feel me? They got me right off the bat. So I'm in college, wasting money. You know what I mean? Not knowing what I want to do, not really having a drive in in education. I didn't stay long. You know what I mean? So I stayed 2 years, and then when I came home, like, okay, I need to get a job. You know what I mean? You gotta think. Now I'm 20 years old. You know what I mean? 20, 21. It's like I need things now. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't a game no more. I can't stay at mom crib for too long. You know what I mean? Not that she wouldn't have me, but that's just not my style. You don't want 20 years. You're not trying to be in your mom crib. You want the finer things in life. So that's what I sought out, and I knew I had an avenue. You know what I mean? I was like, if all else fails, I know how to get it. You know what I mean? I had that confidence from then, right? From working it since I was 10 to I've been every summer till 19. Even when I was in college, I was still working. Working it in the summers. I just knew how to get it if I had to get it like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the spark, man. Life, wanting a car, wanting an apartment, wanting these things, and just really going out and getting it. You know what I mean? I had another job previous to that. I had another job. It was cool, but it wasn't as lucrative, and it wasn't as it was more time consuming than, you know what I mean, than what I knew I could do. I'm like, sure, I could do this and I could make this in, you know what I mean? 6 hours. I'm sitting here working for you for 10 hours, 12 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So That's what that was.
All right. So when you decide that you want to do it, actually step up in the business, what's that conversation with your grandfather like?
Okay, now we fast forward a little bit, right? So what that's like is because I got to drop this too. Another thing that my grandfather did was while I was figuring it out, so during this period, I knew, like I said, I knew where to go get it. I started working with my grandfather again, right? Like I never left because, like I said, I've been working there every summer.
Mm-hmm.
But he allowed me to build a clientele while working for him.
Okay.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So after I'm done his loans, he's like, "Yo, get done these loans." At this time, I'm doing them. I'm out there myself. You know what I'm saying? No, he's out there with us too. Don't get me wrong. My grandfather, he still works to this day. He outside. You feel me? Like, so he's out there with us. And after I'm done with his loans, I was able to, start drumming up my clientele.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what that's what he did to allow me to build that clientele while on his clock. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not on his clock, I wasn't getting paid, but
Yeah.
he allowed me to use the equipment. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but that was one stage. That was one stage of it. You know what I mean? It's one thing, you're doing my lawns and you're doing yours. That's one thing. But leaving him and not leaving him essentially because I still take care of those lawns to this day. Okay. Some of those lawns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what that conversation was, I went to him. At this point, I have a child, right? I'm right. I have a child. My firstborn he's probably 1 or something like that, close to it. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I need to take this to another level now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to need I have to start my own business. I got to do it. So I went to my grandfather and I said, all right, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Go ahead, hand it over. Mm. And he was like, okay, you got a truck? No, I don't got a truck. I was going, you know what I mean? Use your job. You got somewhere to put the equipment? No, I was gonna leave it here with you. Nah, bro. Like I don't want it at my house. Because mind you, these years coming since we was 10, he's been telling us I'm gonna retire. Okay. Mind you, he's still working. You feel me? But that was in my mind, like, okay, he wants to retire. In my mind, it's like,
so you think he's gonna pass it down or fall back?
Okay, yeah. He want to get out of here anyway. So let me go ahead and you know what I mean? Let me take that off your hands. He like, nah, bro. Like, you need a truck. And you need somewhere to put the car because at the time I was living in an apartment. Okay. You feel me? You can't put no trailer in no apartment. You can't have no weed wagons and lawnmowers in no apartment. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm not ready. You feel me? So, but now I knew. Yeah. At this point, now I'm like, okay, all right, bet. Now I know what I need. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it probably was another year to when me and my wife, we invested into the truck. We moved to Willingboro, right? This time I was living in Mooresville. You know, back then apartments was cheaper out there, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we just made a decision to move to Willingboro to invest in the truck. Okay, now I'm ready. Then I went back and was like, okay, now I'm really ready. You know what I mean? And what he did was he signed over the trailer to me for $1. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think even then, he wrote a little contract and everything. You know what I'm saying? He's like, look, even then, right? Even with that, I think that was important to do. You know what I mean? It was important to lay it out on paper. Yeah. It was important to have some form of exchange. You know what I'm saying? Just to make it
official.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just to make it official. And I can go on and on and on for what my grandparents, him and my grandmother, were both very integral in my life. I can go on and on about how they've looked out for me and, you know what I mean, just done right by me all these years. You know what I mean? Okay.
So your uncle runs it now, so I'm guessing he was partially running it back then, even though your grandfather was still involved. So what is his stance on all this when you're saying you want to move up and everything?
All right.
Because you see a lot of times, you know what I mean, you'll see that, well, hear the stories. I'm not going to say you see.
Facts.
about the family members hating on each other and stuff like that. But that wasn't the case clearly. So tell me his role in this.
Okay, so this is important too because during all this time, when I needed a little more, right, I would go work with Bryce. You know what I'm saying? I'm working with Unc. You know what I'm saying? All right, I need to uh I need a little more money or I need a little more hours, you feel me? I'm going to work with Uncle Bryce. So I go over to work with my Uncle Bryce. I probably work with him at that time, probably every 3 years or something like that. So probably once when I was 17, once when I was 20, another time when I was 24, 25. You know what I mean? I stayed with him for a couple years and then
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So I had this conversation with him and he said he actually told me because all right. So there was a time, you know, in business is ups and downs. After my grandfather gave me the trailer, after I'm working it on my own, I'm like, yo, why don't I just give you the trailer and I come work for you? You feel me? And he was like, what you want to do that for? You feel me? Like, so that was essentially what you're saying, right? What you were saying in the beginning was, why not be all one company? Because that was playing in my mind too. I had the same thought. Like, well, why don't we I'm going to just give you the trailer and the lawns and I'm going to just come work for you. We all be under one thing. And he was like, well, what you want to do that for? I was like, I didn't really have an answer. And he kind of showed me like, yo, look, you can make more money if you do it this way. You know what I'm saying? Like doing it this way is the way that you make more money. This is really what you need to really get on your feet to really because he's a monster when it comes to business and just focus and drive. Like he want it all. And he wants me to have it all. You know what I'm saying? He wants his son to have it all. He wants our whole, you know what I'm saying? He wants everybody to get it. So he's like, yo, this is your play. Like you can get it. Like
so he saw the long-term vision when you was just like, nah, let's just you know what I mean?
Let me give it to you. Give me $1,000.
Yeah.
I'll give you I give you the trailer and all the customers. You give me $1,000. I probably needed it right then. You know what I mean? I need like a little rack or two, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, yeah, nah, like
Nah, thug it out.
He said, you can work with me whenever. You know what I'm saying? Open door policy over there. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not gonna let you do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because I was too young then to really realize what I was doing.
Yeah.
But so that's the story on him. You know what I mean? Okay. He saw it and he supported it in that way, and he supports it by always having an open door both ways. If he needs me, you know what I'm saying? I have my CDLs, so he might need a CDL driver. He might need somebody who got some experience. He might have to let go a couple guys and need somebody. I'm there. You know what I mean? So that's how that worked out.
How are y'all finding all these? Y'all got a pretty nice sized company. You know what I mean? I see y'all trucks everywhere. How are y'all finding all these workers?
You know what? Good workers. I feel like the philosophy is like good workers find other good workers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you got a good worker, he got some family. You know what I mean? And that's how that go. Okay. You know what I mean? He got some family. He got a friend. Tell him, oh, we need this. Come on. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that works. And I can't even speak too much about that because I'm not on the hiring side of Edwards and Sons. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Uncle Bryce, and he take care of that. You know how he sees fit. Yeah. You feel me?
I mean, I'm assuming it has to be though that y'all turnover rate isn't crazy. Like people stay with Edwards and Sons because y'all been around for so long.
That's a fact. We got family over there. I got family. Like, I mean, and I was. It's funny because I was thinking about this. Like last time I was over there, I'm like, Dad, like y'all really see me grow up. Like I remember I was here when I was 17, and now I'm, you know what I'm saying, 25. You see me when I was 25. Now I'm 33, or you know what I mean, whatever the case may be. So it was like, nah, like y'all really grew with the company and stayed, and that's love. You know what I mean?
What's something that you've learned, like as far as keeping your employees and as far as the way you treat them and stuff like that, to have that retention rate? Like, is there anything that you witnessed? Like, y'all see my grandfather does this with people or does that, or?
Well, I'll say this, right? My uncle starts every day with prayer.
Okay.
Yep, company prayer, not just himself. I
Mm.
mean, himself, like I say, he's another animal. He's up 5 every morning, juicing, working out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but but when we get out there in that yard, before we go, you know what I'm saying? All right, huddle up, everybody get their assignments, and we pray. You
Mm.
feel me? So
Yeah.
I like to think that that has a lot to do with how he's been able to keep it going. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so we speed up. Now you want to start third generation. So you
Hmm.
told me how he gave the truck to you for the dollar and everything. Is that third
The
generation?
trailer, the
Trailer, the
trailer.
trailer farm.
Hmm.
So what is the first steps that you're taking to get your own off the ground?
Um, I had to buy a lawnmower, right? I have a trailer, had some weed whackers. I had a 32, which will get you in the backyard, but it's not the main driver of a professional lawn service company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the driver of a professional lawn service company is a 48-inch lawnmower, a 52-inch, Exmark or Bobcat. That's really what you need to see the kind of money that you really want to see. So I knew I had to get a lawnmower. I couldn't afford the 52-inch yet, so I got like a 48-inch walk behind. Right, this ain't one you sit down, but it's self-propelled. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first goals. And another thing that I have to give a shout out on is my wife, because you know credit and everything like that is very important, that you have that support. You know what I mean? When you have a wife or a
Always shout out the
girlfriend, right?
spouse, man. The spouse is very important, man.
Big facts, big facts. So, if I can't, if I got the money, but my credit ain't right, she like, all right, put it in my name. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Put it on my joint. I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's how we was able to get that off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So how are you? All right. So how do you get more customers? Obviously, you do a referral base too, but those first couple years, like, how are you growing the business? Like, what are you focusing on?
Okay. Remember, landscaping is different. I've always said marketing and landscaping is different, or has been different in my experience. And it's not about how many customers you can get, it's about how many customers you can service.
Okay.
All right. Because in landscaping, it's very easy to get customers. If you're just outside, people are going to be like, yo, can you come cut my grass? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a job that people want to do. It's not. It's something that, oh yeah, how much? Oh yeah, do that, please.
Yeah.
You've been working all day. If I had a job, I wouldn't want to cut my own grass. You
Thanks.
feel me?
Yeah.
Like,
I ain't cut my
it's
grass.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. Take you an hour. It's gonna take you probably maybe even longer than that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If you weed whack and cutting, it's gonna take you a while. When you could pay somebody $50, you know what I'm saying, and they get done, you're like, dang, you did that in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So it's like almost a no-brainer. So the market itself is filled, especially in our area. I'm from Willingboro, New Jersey, and I don't live in a city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Willingboro, where everybody got grass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're coming from the city, you probably don't even know how to really
Yeah.
manage it until it get knee high, and the township giving you a citation
Mm-hmm.
telling you, hey, we're going to fine you $200 unless you
Yeah.
cut your grass.
Get that under control,
You feel me?
man.
So they come looking. They
Yeah.
go through the streets looking at who's outside. So if you're outside cutting, you're going to get those walk ups. You know what I mean? But with that being said, that's not what it's about. How to grow a successful lawn service company is not overwhelming yourself, and not getting a bad reputation, because that's how you get a bad reputation,
Mm-hmm.
by overwhelming yourself. How many times have you heard, yeah, I got a landscape guy, but he never showed up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I called him, but he never showed up. And the reason why he didn't show up is not because he's lazy. He's not at the house, playing the game or something. Nah, he just got too many lawns to do, and he can't do it in the amount of time that, you know what I mean, that you would like. And mind you, as time ticks, the grass is growing. Grass is growing. Grass is growing. So it's a time slot to where you got to get there.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So you can only do but so many, you can only do however many you could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in order for you to do more, you had to invest in equipment, invest in workers. You know what I mean? So that's how that works. You know what I mean? I hope I was clear with that. So it's not about how many customers you get; it's about how many customers you can service well.
Right.
Because that's another thing. You don't want to be how'd you feel if your barber got 100 clients? So he's, oh yeah, come on, hurry up. All right, get out of here. Like, nah, bro, take your time with my head, dog. You feel me? Take your time. Put some, you know, you gotta put some love into it. So that's what we do with the lawns. Like when we're cutting, like nah, like yo, you gotta get that. Look, you gotta weed whack around that. You can't leave that. Nah, we sharpen up the edges. We making sure it's crispy. It's gonna take time. You know what I'm saying? I can't book, you know what I mean, 30 lawns in a day. Yeah, I could get 30 lawns in a day. You know what I'm saying? But am I gonna be able to get to all 30 lawns in that day? Yeah. No. No, I'm not. You know what I mean? So slow and steady wins the race. You grow as you get more command of the management of it all. You know what I mean? The more you're able to manage, the more you can grow.
Okay. All right. So third generation of sons is up and going. How long y'all been going now?
Third generation, we've been rocking since 2015.
Oh, you've been for a minute now.
Yeah. Okay. 2015, you know, we got some good we have some good contracts, and that's another thing too. Contracts.
All right. You know so talk on that for a second.
Not contracts is just a way to really. For me, I like contracts because it's like that guaranteed thing. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get your money now, but when it does come, it's going to. You know what I mean? It's going to be there. So bigger contracts is definitely a plus. But like I said before, keep it in that same vein. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to, you know what I mean? Unless you got the equipment to overdo it. If you got the equipment, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? But if you only got one lawnmower and 3 guys, one lawnmower and 3 guys, there is a finite amount that they're going to be able to do. And respect that. Because if you don't respect that, you're going to have a lot of turnover. You're working guys in the ground. You know what I mean? You're working from 7 in the morning to 7 at night. But your body can only take but so much. You know what I mean? You're dealing with heat. You're dealing with fumes from the lawnmower. You're dealing with grass. You know what I'm saying? It's a demanding business. So you kind of got to respect the body as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So where are some places that people can go that most people don't think about to get a contract?
I say anywhere. Apartment complexes, you know, they're popping up everywhere. Apartment complexes,
especially out here. Them townhouses is everywhere.
They everywhere. So I think that's a good place. But even before the contracts, man, the residential is a great way to get started. It's a great way to get started because, mind you, not only are you giving them a service, you know, they kind of become part of your family. I've been cutting some of the same lawns for, you know, 10 plus years. You know what I mean? 15 plus years, some of them. So there are people that are going to come back. It's just as constant. It can be just as constant. You know what I mean? With residential. But the plus about residential is that they're also a branch into a new market because these are people, they don't just need their grass cut. They need a whole lot of other services. You know what I'm saying? They might need some junk removal. They might need, you know what I mean? They might be selling their house, might need some real estate. You feel me? So by building this network, and this is like a true network, like it's not just a network, okay, so in other industries, I feel like, you know, you build your network, you get these contacts, and you email them on Christmas, email them on Labor Day or something like that, like from your loan office or something like that. And that's cool, but you know, how close is that? But your landscaper, he's coming every other week. You seeing him every other week. You know what I'm saying? You know this guy. You get comfortable with this guy. You trust this guy. He's in your yard. You know what I'm saying? When you're not home. You feel me? So there becomes a real trust that gets built, and a real network and a real extended family that kind of gets built as well. So that now that we have other services, like now I'm doing junk removal and demolition, right? Now that's my first place to market. I'm marketing with my circle of influence, you know what I'm saying? Which is my lawns, you know what I mean? My lawn service customers, which, you know, as a landscaper, you'll easily 100, you know what I'm saying? 100, you got 100 customers, you know what I'm saying? And these are customers that you're seeing every week, not just once a year, not just something that you did for somebody one time and was a customer. Like, nah, like this is a consistent customer. So I think that's the real potential in landscaping, right? That I haven't even been able to fully tap into, but it is always my goal to tap into that.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but now with third generation, your goal is to help other people start their own.
Facts. So now let's fast forward to today, right? So we had Edwards and Sons, you got Allen and grandsons, you got third generation. The important thing I want to say about that is what that did for me. It gave me time. Remember, I was saying how experience is passing on a skill is like passing on experience. Okay, passing on experience is like passing on time. So what my grandfather did for me, what my father did for me, what my uncle did for me, they gave me time to figure out what I wanted to do. So now I'm here and I'm like, okay, I've and this has been since in my early 20s. I've been working this and thinking about it, planning and everything. Now I realize, okay, my passion isn't necessarily grass. My passion isn't cutting grass. That's not where I get. Uh, that's not where I get fuel from. But what I do get fuel from is because a lot of people in our industry that work, that work with us and work for us, they can be ex felons, right? Young people, teenagers. So that's really when I get the most joy. When I get my kids or my little cousin or like my young boy down the street, you know what I'm saying? When I get to teach them this skill, you know what I'm saying? And really expose them to something that they never previously would have been exposed to.
Yeah.
I found out that was really what was fueling me in this thing. That was really my purpose in being in this thing, right? Because on that landscaping truck, there's a lot that happens on that landscaping truck. You know what I'm saying? There's a camaraderie that's built. You know what I'm saying? There's a very brotherhood, a very brother-like relationships that get built on that truck. You know what I'm saying?
Hard work always makes that bond with people. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly. So I'm like, this is what I'm in it for. Like these bonds that I could build with people.
Yeah.
And the people that need it the most are people who may have done some time, jobs not giving them no play. Teenagers who want money, don't really, you know what I'm saying? Might not be fit for working at McDonald's or something like that. They don't want to work at McDonald's, but you can come out here and get, you know what I'm saying? And kind of get that hands-on experience. And not only with landscaping, you're not just learning grass. We might mess around and have to put some siding on the house. You might mess around and, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different other things that are just, there's teachable moments.
Yeah.
So this is when I sat down and I said, okay, if this is what my real goal is, right? I need to focus on that more. I need to really make it about that. So that's how it became a part of the nonprofit of Born Leaders. Okay. So it's Born Leaders Work Program is where we teach and we work with ex-felons and the youth on bettering themselves through labor. You know what I'm saying? Our slogan is we work, we grow. You know what I'm saying? Because I really believe that in order to grow, labor is a very important part of that. You know what I'm saying? I know labor is very unpopular. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to make a meal on the phone. You want to make a meal by being a middleman, which all that is cool. You know what I'm saying? All that is cool. It has its place. But labor has its place too, in character development and mindset and all these different things that I feel is so valuable. And what's so valuable to me, I know it firsthand. You know what I'm saying? Like me working on that truck in the summers kept me out of a lot of trouble. You feel me? Even just structuring on how to cut a grass, it organized my mind. You understand what I'm saying? So when I look at the youth and even some of my peers, and what do I see? I see disorganized minds. You know what I'm saying? This is what I say. I'm like, okay, I have a solution for that because I had an unorganized mind and my mind was organized through this labor. So I'm going to use this to, to give back and help organize the minds and kind of activate the community, which is what my nonprofit does, right? We have a nonprofit called Born Leaders Activating the Community, and that's what we're all about, activating the community.
I love how you got the byproduct of the actual product. You know what I mean? Born Leaders is off of, and it's a work program. That's cool.
Word.
Congrats on that. All right. Tell me about the club that you got, the Writers Club.
Bet. So now we're getting into, in order to tell you about the Writers Club, I gotta tell you about Born Leaders, right?
Okay.
A little, just a little bit more about Born Leaders. So Born Leaders was, like I said, a vision that came about through the time that I was granted, right, from my upbringing, and it was just always about the idea of understanding that in a community we really have everything we need. As a people, we have everything we need, but it just needs to be sparked. It has to be activated. So that was the idea behind the BLAC, right? How do we activate the community? And how you activate the community, right, is through the youth and it's through programs. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that a baseball program is extracurricular, football programs are extracurricular, drama, plays, right? They're not extracurricular. These are essential to the growth and development of young people.
Okay.
And this is something that I experienced in my growing up in Willenboro. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up in Willenboro, we had baseball, basketball, football, heritage, band. We was in everything. You know what I'm saying? I was in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back to Willenboro and saw that these things were not there anymore, I knew we were in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And what do we see? We see the youth acting out. We see a more troubled or misguided youth. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody has these questions, oh, how do we fix the youth? How do we, you know what I'm saying? Outside of throwing them in jail, which is the only answer that the government has for us, right? If they're not controlled by the time they 17, 18, oh yeah, they're going to jail. That's their answer, right? And we know how that works. How do we kind of gain control of our communities, right? And I believe it is through programs and it's through the youth, okay? So youth programs are essential in building a community and building a nation. So with that being said, the writing program is a step in that direction. If you notice, right, if anybody did like a little quick, anybody that knows me, everything that we're talking about, I've done, right? I've done it first. I've experienced it. I've seen the benefits. And once I have it, once I've done it, it gets to the point where, okay, now I'm going to give it. Okay. So I wrote a book in 2021 that really changed my life. That book really changed my life. So after writing that book, I realized how important writing is, right? How important writing your vision, making it plain is. You know what I'm saying? It's really essential. So with that being said, the writing program was just a natural progression in the rolling out of programs that the BLAC offers.
Okay. Tell me how the book helped you as a person.
The book helped me. It really, because it's not a short answer, but I'm going to shorten it as much as I can. We running out on time, but it helped me by consolidating my beliefs. Okay, so the book is called "The Forest Through the Trees." I feel like we live in a time where information is everywhere, right? There's a lot of everything everywhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we're always consuming it. We're always consuming it. So I just feel like there is a need for everything to kind of come on one accord, right? Where does all this information meet? Where is truth and where is opinion and where is falsehood? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what my book is about. It's about highlighting the truth, right? You know, trying to find that clear definition of what truth is. You know what I'm saying? And doing it in a poetic way. So the book is called "The Forest Through the Trees." It's a poetic expression.
Okay. All right. Father, husband, community leader, activist, all of that, wrapped in one, right?
Mhm.
Author. Tell them where to get the book at.
Amazon. You can get the book at Amazon, or you could reach out to me. You could DM me or whatever the case may be. I could deliver it to you, or I could get it shipped out. But it's right on Amazon.
All right.
Yep.
And where can they find more about the third generation at, as far as the work program and all of that?
The BLAC, the Born Leaders. You can find more about Born Leaders. Everything is wrapped under Born Leaders. Everything is under Born Leaders Activating Community. You can find out on our website, which is blacommunity.org.
Okay. All right. A couple of random questions I'm about to just throw out there. All right.
Please.
Biggest lesson you learned from your grandfather?
Biggest lesson? Biggest lesson. I guess the biggest lesson would be, if you do the work, it'll come. Do the work, have the patience, you'll get everything that you want in this life.
Okay.
That's what I when I look at him, that's what I see. Like somebody that did the work, you know what I mean? Somebody that does the work and sees the fruit of his benefits. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
Okay. If anybody out there, who is Born Leaders for? Who would it help? Let's paint that picture of the individual.
Yes. Born Leaders is it's like I said, it's to activate the community. Born Leaders is for the youth. Born Leaders is for people who have a heart for the youth, right? There's a lot of people that want to help the youth. Come on, come contact us. We have a lot of partners, a lot of people that work with us that make it possible, right? It's not just me, right? We have a whole community of people behind us, pushing us, and we push each other in activating the community and making the community a better place. So,
all right. What is the 10-year goal for everything you got going on? Where you want to be 10 years from now? We're Born Leaders, we're third generation. Well, what's the long-term goal?
10 years from now, I want the goal and our trajectory is to have Born Leaders, on the level of the Boys and Girls Club,
okay,
but for us.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if the Boys and Girls Club was tailor-made for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the goal of it. You know what I mean? So we're going to have, and we already have, because our goal is, our strategy anyway, is to build the programs first. We're going to build the programs first before the whole thing comes together. We're going to make sure every program is what it's supposed to be, does what it needs to do, and then we bring it all together. 10-year plan is civil rights. So we want to be on the level of Boys and Girls Club, and we really want to make it for us with not only the sports programs, but we're talking about business classes, we're talking about art, we're talking about it all, right? Literature, we need it all because our culture, we are a people, we are a cultured people. You know what I'm saying? We are artistic people. You know what I mean? So we have to embrace that. I believe. I mean, we're artistic and we're athletic, so we need to embrace that as well as the other things that we are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're going to have it all. Everything to develop a young man or a young woman into a productive member of society.
Yeah, anything else you want to leave the people with before we wrap up?
Of course, we got the baseball league. We have baseball training coming this fall. We have the writing program going on right now. So just stay tuned on our social media, on our Facebook page. Stay tuned on our website for any other programs or events that will be coming up.
What's the social media?
Put it like that. We have social media, Born Leaders Baseball on Facebook. My social media is Brandon_Beyond Words. And of course, you look me up on Facebook, Brandon Edwards. You can look up my wife on Facebook, Cynthia Edwards. And, we're here.
All right, man. Well, as always, appreciate your time, man. I know everybody out there learned a lot from you. Your stories are dope. You know what I mean? So shout out to grandfather.
Facts. Shout out to my grandfather, Alan Edwards. Shout out to my dad, Aldwin Edwards, who In this conversation, he doesn't come up, but he plays a very integral part of my life as well, of course, because there's a whole bunch we didn't even get into. Sitting here talking to you is like it's like therapeutic. I'm like sitting back and really have to really think about everything that it took for me to get here, everything that I have going on, and there's a lot. We could do this like literally all day. So shout out to my father, Alden Edwards, my mother, Dana Edwards, in that just nurturing me and growing me to be the man I am today. My wife, Cynthia Edwards, again, and I'm gonna say it again, Cynthia Edwards. Don't want to forget that. You know what I mean? Other than that, that's it. We don't have to do a part 2 or something to get into the music and the, you know what I mean, and the writing and the plays and the books. Like one day we really gonna have to, take our time and really dig in, because there's a lot of stuff that I would like to build with you about.
Nah, definitely. He's all over the place. You'll see him at over mics. You'll see him on stage at concerts. You'll see him all over.
It's like which avenue. I want to make this clear and concise, but it's a lot. So we're just gonna leave it at that for the day.
My God.
Until next time.
Appreciate you. See y'all next.